everyone. I'm Kendria. I need you to go like, follow, and subscribe. Soul Productions.
What's up, everyone? And this is Next Level Thinking. What's up, everyone? It's another episode of Next Level Thinking. It's your host, Chris Holmes. So we always bring you inspirational guests to help you take it to the next level, and that is our goal today and on every episode. Today, I have a special guest by the name of
Crystal Brown.
Nice. So tell the audience a little bit about Crystal Brown and why I brought you to this platform.
Okay, well, I'm actually a lecturer at San Jose State University.
Eat 'em up, cats.
Right, eat 'em up, cats. So I've been teaching sociology at San Houston since 2012. I have both my bachelor's and master's in sociology, and along with that, I have a history in community work and activism as well.
Nice. So she educated y'all. She educated. So, okay, we diving into sociology, and I feel like this is a topic that definitely needs to hit, especially now. So what are some of the common, topics that are going on when it comes to this field? Because I know there's a lot, but what are the most common ones in your opinion? Like, ooh.
Well, you mean when I focus on sociology or what I teach?
Yes.
Okay, so specifically, I think three big areas that I focus on. One is the area of community, okay? And secondly, of course, what I'm known for is my race and ethnicity course.
Okay.
So, and the last one is, I do a lot with institutions as well. So principles of sociology, I've done sport and sociology as well. So big system.
Gotcha. So I love that. Also, I want to dive a little bit more on this topic, the influence or the impact of a person's environment of how they see the world. And I feel like a lot of times it's like the elephant in the room that people kind of ignore, like, oh, I'm not like that. But I want to get your expertise on that.
Well, first of all, I think anybody who says they're not impacted by the group, they don't know themselves very well, or they don't know their group very well. Okay, I believe it was George Herbert Mead, who was a sociologist, and he talked about this idea of the looking glass, right? And the looking glass is how we perceive ourselves through other people, right? You can name your favorite aspects of yourself, whether it's your name, right? Whether it's your fashion sense, the food you like. You all got it from someone else. What makes us special, and this is the gift of sociology, is our connection to other people. We understand ourselves based on our relationships with other people.
Now that really dawned on me. So it's like whatever that you aspire or connect with is basically like a reflection of who you are. Is that?
Yeah, it is. I love my name, Crystal. I was actually named by my second oldest brother, right? I didn't even have the ability to choose a name for myself. My name was given to me, right? So the things that we understand about ourselves, it's what we understand based on what we know about the others around us.
Gotcha. Solid answers. So is it very hard for your students to communicate? Because I remember taking sociology, and I'm just saying, because I love it because it opens up the doors of so many different topics that need to be addressed. But how can you, or better I phrase it like this, how can a person overcome that challenge of openly talking about a subject that may be sensitive? We'll start, and then I'll go from there.
Well, first off, I think you have to understand when you're connected to a group, right? You are subject to the view of that group, right? So we all have, as I put it, these frames that we come into a conversation with, right? It's almost
my phrase, you got that phrase, you got that. I got my cool shades on.
That is the metaphor that I use. Except for the difficult part for us is realizing that those frames are there because we wear them so long, they feel natural to us. So you have to be aware of what you are subjective to, right? What biases are you taking into a conversation? What viewpoints are you taking into a conversation, right? But you also have to learn, and again, the gift of sociology, how to pull those things off so you can hear other people. You know, you have to understand there are other perspectives outside of your own. Not everyone has the same worldview because we don't all grow up in the same social groups.
Yep. And then when you try to put your view, like, I don't believe that. No, this is
Exactly.
no, you're wrong. No, you're wrong.
There's some sociologists who would argue, you know, when it comes to the correct answer, there is no correct answer, right? We're all just seeing from our different perspectives, and we're creating our reality from that.
I ain't gonna lie, that sounds like me. Keep going.
Messing with you a little bit. Yeah.
What other ones we have? So you have that one.
I think also, man, I also think what makes it easier in overcoming difficult subjects is our willingness to talk to people, right? Equal status contact hypothesis is a theory saying that the more we interact with people on our level in non-competitive ways, you're not doing it in competition, you're not doing it trying to get a reward, but when you just interact with people, right, that in itself makes it easier to talk with them. That reduces biases and prejudice. So the first thing that we have, the second thing I feel like we have to do is just get out there and act with people that are not like us.
Ooh, that's a big one because let's be honest, we all want to go around, hang around a clique or a crowd or something that's comfortable or feel like safe. I'm just going to throw this one because I'm more of the, I guess you say, social butterfly. I'll talk to whoever because I'm kind of curious, kind of get your point of view. But I was being brought up. I'm not going to lie. I heard some like, don't talk to those kind of people or those kind of people don't understand us. So I had to get out of that mindset. So I definitely can relate to what you're saying.
Yeah. This is how we grow in our understanding. And it's not only that we see what we don't know, but you'll be surprised that when you interact with someone that is not from your background, how much you really have in common with that other group as well. You know, people really think that it's just them with these type of experiences or these type of perspectives, but you might meet someone from a different class background, racial background, different culture, and you're like, hold up, we do that too. Yeah, but you don't know that until you get out of that zone and go and talk and intermingle with people. The second thing that you have to do, you have to talk to people that are not like you.
I think that actually will help you grow tremendously when you get out your comfort zone and talk to people who are not like you. Piggyback on what you were saying, I remember on top of all this is a lot of stereotypes. So people have what they think a person should be. So you have the stereotypes of what media portrays and whatever, and you're expecting this person to act like this, and you say, hey, and you're like, hey, good morning. And it's like, what? Like, I'm blessed. How about you? You're like, what? It just throws a person completely off because they're going off what they assume a person should be until they actually have a conversation. Then it actually breaks down the barrier. And I feel like a lot of us need to start having that conversation to actually step out beyond our comfort zone and of areas and just to seek understanding. And that's what I want to get you to right now is the importance of seeking understanding from people who are different from you.
Okay, so in going back to this idea of not speaking to people that are like yourself, I think we tend to underestimate the gift of empathy. Okay, you have to learn to be empathetic. And when I say empathy instead of sympathy, because sympathy is just when you feel sorry for somebody. But to visualize, to empathize with other people that you haven't been in their shoes and imagine things, if you will, from their perspective, you will gain some insight, right, into who they are and into maybe the decisions that they make and the way that they process things, right? So I do think we need, as a society, to practice our empathy a lot more.
And I think that is very important too, because we are quick. I think it was more common for people to do sympathy, feel sorry, than to actually understand. Because I believe once you do empathy and understand the other person's perspective, then you as a person, you become a lot more well-rounded. Instead of like, oh, I feel sorry for him, but you never understand their viewpoint, and that doesn't really solve the issue that was at hand. So
Right.
with all this said, before we go even further, I want you to go a little bit more of the background story. Like, who molded this person? Like, how did you grow up a little bit? You know, that little something.
All
Be
right.
like,
How
we're in
far
this
back
thing
do you
from,
want to go?
yeah.
I actually, I'm a Houston native, so
Okay.
I was born. I know, H-Town, baby. I actually came from the same neighborhood that Scarface,
Okay.
the rapper Scarface, came from. So I was a Trinity Gardens baby. My mother moved me and my siblings to Huntsville when maybe I was maybe around maybe 7 or 8 years old, somewhere around there. And it was completely different for me because I was used to bullets going over my head.
You're like, you better come inside before the light goes out.
So the real life was a big change for me. I will say that as far as what molded me, I feel like I've had accumulation of experiences. You know, my mother was the type of woman that even though we were poor, on Saturday she would take us to the library. And so I was exposed to
Shouts out to her.
the Arabic Thousand Tales, but I couldn't afford to go see Aladdin, but I knew the book.
Oh, nice.
Right. I also came from a very artistic family. I remember my brother drawing growing up. So those sort of things were sort of instilled in me. And of course, there were some things that, you know, the common, I think the Southern Black cultural experience, they get up there, make you say it's just each. So there's a bit of
pull out my Easter suits.
all of that. So you practice public speaking. But when I enrolled in college and I made that decision, I was a first generation college student. My parents had not graduated college. My siblings had not graduated college.
So you just going into the world of unknown and you're like, man, I don't know.
Completely. And what was so crazy about it was I actually wasn't like in the top 10, top 15, none of that when I graduated college. But the first semester that I enrolled at Sam, I made the dean's list.
Okay. More props to you. You can go ahead and you're being humble. Go ahead and, you know, like my mentor would say, there's times when you need to be proud of your accomplishments. Yes.
Yeah. I remember what a colleague told me one day when I was telling him my story. He said, you need to learn to start bragging like a white man. And I never forgot that. And
that probably, I guarantee you, probably like when he said it, that at that moment you were like, huh? And then it dawned on you. You're like,
it dawned on me.
You're like, you got a point.
Yeah, you have all the confidence of a proud white man. And it was a white man telling me this. So it was good.
Well, can't say nothing off of that.
Can't say nothing off of that. Yeah.
And okay, we got going through that, and then what led you into becoming the professor? So we got a minute to this.
Okay, so I actually took one sociology course
and was hooked.
And I know they hooked me and they lured me in. I actually originally wanted to go for social work, and as I took sociology, some of the things that we discussed, these individual problems that I was experiencing, you know, fatherlessness, poverty. I took sociology and I was like, holy crap. Everybody in my neighborhood went through that. And so I became intrigued. And so I did some conferences as an undergraduate. And I even did internships at Texas A&M University. I took courses out there. I graduated in 2009 with my bachelor's, and in 2012 with my master's. And I remember as a graduate student, they gave me one class to teach. One class.
That's going to be your signature move. You got one more.
And I worked that class, and then they gave me more. They were like, okay, we want you around. So it was something that grew out of just one class that they taught. I had never taught a class before. Didn't know anything about teaching. All I knew was sociology. And I tried my best to give to students what I think I had gained in all of those years.
Yes, that's what it's all about, giving back, especially from your experience and what you learn and much more. And I'm not going to lie, I didn't go into that, I guess, in my degree plan for that. But if I had another opportunity, I probably would dive into sociology because you see me on the podcast talking to all these different people.
Oh, yeah.
It's just
You
stuff
know,
like
sociology is everything when you truly think about it. So it's easy for me to relate different subjects to it because it's all about the group.
Mm-hmm. The vibes, the trend, what's new, that's affecting the world, affecting the money, it affects everything. That's what sociology is all about. So with all of this, like, do people like use you sometimes as a mediator? Like, okay, am I right or is this person right?
You know, I see that happening.
I'm curious.
They do. I've had students, and it could be lunch break. I'm just trying to grab my hamburger and go, dog. And they're like, Miss Brown, is this racist or isn't it? and then I have to sit up there and tell them about different types of racism, you know, difference between racism and prejudice. And, you know, so it does happen. It does. And then I also have people that because I teach and I'm a professor at a college, they like to prod you. How much do you really know? It's like, oh, here, this is not Jeopardy. I'm not getting paid for this.
So I want to throw this question, the importance, because I feel like we moved away from this, but I feel like, remember the times where you actually ate at the table with your family and discuss things? It seems nowadays people like to eat like in separate rooms or just use technology and things like that. But it dawned on me, and I just had a question, like, I think we should bring that back, you know, have family time, at least in a lunch, where you can discuss certain subjects, because sometimes, it's just my view, I feel like people, sometimes either the youth or those whole things inside, and I was like the place at the table was like a way for people like to let things out. So what's your thoughts on that?
My thoughts is, I see this back as larger American culture, right? Mm-hmm. We have this whole idea of the individual, right? And so everything that we do, from our technology to our fashion, even when we think we're being uniquely fashionable, right? It's about us expressing ourselves as individuals. And so we have separated and segregated ourselves and disconnected from one another in enormous ways, whether it's family. We are on Facebook. We might have thousands of friends. We can't ask anybody for $5.
Ooh, that was deep.
So we are more connected than we've ever been and still as lonely as we have ever been. So because we have this culture that pushes the idea of the individual so much, we have forgotten how much we depend on one another. And I think that does trickle down to the things that you were talking about, people being at a table and unable to communicate with one another. We've forgotten those interpersonal skills that are very, very necessary for our society to be stable. You know, in certain societies, they don't even have a word for excuse me. Can you imagine being in a society where you had to think about other people just as much as you thought about yourself because you cannot express the idea of the individual?
Completely.
So I think we have to realize how disconnected we are. You know, even when I teach, I see students who, you know, they'll have 1,000 different emotions in their Facebook status or their Twitter. But they're too afraid to raise their hand in class.
You know, that is I realized, I'm not going to lie, especially when I went to a lot of my classes at SAM, a lot of what seemed to be popular on the internet, but then I see them in person, I'm like, you're afraid to speak? It seems like you're just this big social butterfly on the internet, but when it comes to meeting that like straight face-to-face interaction, like you can't really escape this. You don't have no, I guess the internet can be like a shield or a barrier, so they're still in that little protective bubble. But when you meet a person face to face, it's like, I'm seeing the real you.
Exactly. Well, it's the anonymity, right? that aspect of the internet, it emboldens people. I can say whatever, I can be whoever on the web, right? But there's nothing to hide behind when it's a face-to-face interaction. So I think going just back to your thing, I think we just have weakened our interpersonal skills in our pursuit of the individual. And we do need to sharpen just across the board our interpersonal skills. That's family, that's friends, that's how we relate to one another as employees and coworkers. Interpersonal skills is something that has been in a sharp decline for some time.
So what do you think is the best way to either improve or maybe idea? Because your own experience, education background, and much more. You've probably seen a lot more than I have. Because, but what do you think is the best foot forward?
I think that a step forward would, you just have to practice. You really do just have to practice. In my class, right, you don't have to be in a group of 100 people, 200 to make you uncomfortable. Practice with 2 or 3 people. And like you said, put your phone down with your friend. You shouldn't be face to face with a friend and still disconnected from that friend, right? It's those little things that make a big difference down the line. And especially when I talk to young people, they don't understand the idea of impression management. When you go before a boss, you're not going to be able to do that. You're going to have to speak face to face. You're going to have to know things about eye contact and stating yourself clearly. So practicing connections, right, in our daily lives, I think is going to be critical.
Awesome. Solid statements all the way around. So what are some things we got going on? Maybe a future podcast? I see these things like that. I may have threw something out there.
Something out there. Just throw it. Well, right now, I'm actually here at the lovely Piney Woods Hall, where I'm the faculty mentor there. The kids are on spring break, but I'm responsible for mentoring 700 students in this hall.
That would have cost someone right there 700 students. No.
Exactly. I'm a hardworking single mom. Okay, I got a lot of kids.
A lot.
There, next year, I'm going to be the ACU facilitator. So I will actually be helping other professors learn how to teach their classes.
Ooh, what is that new?
Actually, yes.
That threw me off guard because I was like, wait a minute. I was just being like, wow, so we actually helping the professors how to, okay, you caught me off guard.
Yes, this is something that has been in place at Texas State University. This is their 3rd year doing it, and they needed a new moderator, and so I am moderating those interactions for the professors, the new cohort that will be taught next year. So that's what I'm working on. I also have a prayer group, right? Because I like to practice meditation, and that's how I practice my connections, by the way. So if you don't know a way and you're not happy with the ways to connect, make your own. So I do have a prayer group.
That sounds like a quote. You better write that down. I'm just saying.
So I have a group of girls that I pray with daily. And for anyone watching, if you would like to join, hit me up, okay? So that is something that I do. In addition to that, I do want to extend that ministry beyond just the group. So possibly working on a prayer group app, right? Or a way to connect people more, right? Because again, it's one of those things, you don't know what other people are going through unless you connect with them.
Yes, so that's great. She's going to do an Oprah next, it's having people just sit in their own chair, talk about it. She already got the whole background, she ain't saying it on camera, but, it maybe is fizzling in her head a little bit.
Just a little bit. Yeah.
Cool. So with all that said, like, how can they stay in contact with you? So this is your time to shine, leave all your contact information, and close this out with a strong quote.
All right, a strong quote. Excellent. Well, if you want to reach me, you can reach me at my email, which is crystalgbrown@shsu.edu. Or you can reach me at my Gmail account, which is crysmay04@gmail.com. All right. In addition, I just want to say that it is our responsibility to know where we are in our tribe. And I think it's important for us to be aware of that and to understand the power that comes with that. One of my favorite quotes is by Friedrich Nietzsche. And he talks about the way that we as individuals struggle with the concept of tribe, because the tribe pulls on us and we pull on the tribe, right? This is something that never ends for us. We are constantly trying to navigate our places through groups. And it is my hope and our understanding that we just don't have people influence us, but we have the power and ability to influence the world around us.
With that, she drops the mic. I got to buy a whole nother busting up equipment. Golly, I know how to get some insurance. Great, cool. Love the energy, inspiration, and value, and much more. So we're going to go ahead and close this out. It's your host, Chris Holmes, bringing you inspirational guests to help you take it to the next level. And of course, I have my lovely guest by the name of
Crystal Brown.
Hey, so make sure you subscribe, like, and share the message so we can keep things going, because everybody deserves greatness, and it's time to unlock the potential because your destiny awaits. So make sure you take it to the next level. Peace.